Hi, I'm Sammy Murrian, and this is a movie review from Rehab. Anyone who has watched my channel for any period of time knows that I am a huge fan of horror films. I'm not just a fan of horror films, I think that horror films are important. They're therapeutic. I think that well done horror films are in fact good for you. It wasn't all that long ago, coming up on about a year ago actually, that I kind of realized that I needed to start facing my fears and dealing with life, get off of drugs, or I was just gonna die. Not just for drug addicts or recovering drug addicts, but for everyone. I think that horror is great. I think it's very important to face your fears, to know what scares you, and to know to explore why it scares you. And to stay on top of that. I think it's just such an important part of being a healthy, well-rounded human being, is to know what scares you and why. I also think that horror films are just this great release. I'm not like a gross, mean, scary person in real life. I'm actually very friendly and bubbly. I find horror films to be a very appropriate place to get, a release, catharsis. For me, it's similar to like going for a run. It just gets stuff out. So just yesterday, I was reading rave reviews from critics who I really respect of this film, The Wailing, this new horror film, and I read so many raves that I was like, okay, I gotta find this. So today I took myself on an adventure and I took the train from where I live in Hollywood all the way over to Koreatown, Los Angeles, to find like the one theater near me and one of very few cinemas in the country playing this film, The Wailing. It took all day, it was a total adventure. Wow, was it worth it though. I found The Wailing to be a phenomenally satisfying and rich horror film. A phenomenally satisfying film-going experience, period. This is directed by, I'm gonna try not to massacre these names, but I'm a dumb American from Tennessee, and I probably will massacre all of the names in this video, be warned. The director of this film is named Hong-jin, and this stars a man named Do-won Kwak. You might gather from those names that these folks aren't from around here. This is in fact a South Korean horror film. This was a huge hit at Cannes in 2015 and went on to gross a huge amount of money in South Korea. I saw it with a sold-out audience today. It was pretty wild. Among many things that I really, really appreciated about The Wailing is that this is not just empty thrills. It actually has an enormous novelistic, sprawling storyline. This film is an exorcism film. It is a ghost story. It is a zombie film. It is all of these things. It is all of these things done very well and more. It is a sprawling, dense, operatic 3-hour movie. This movie is just shy of 3 hours long, and the time evaporates. This movie is just under 3 hours long, and I swear to God, the time flew by. I swear I have toasted Pop-Tarts, and it's felt longer waiting for my Pop-Tarts to get toasted than sitting here watching this 3-hour film. It's highly entertaining and dynamic. It's also very much a slow burn. The tone is all over the place, in a good way, in a masterful way. The first quarter of the film almost feels like it might be a police comedy, and the film is sprinkled with genuinely funny and often quite disarming funny moments throughout the film. It's a very slow burn film, and it's all the richer for it. The lighter tone at the beginning of the film gives way to a much, much darker tone. The film gets completely pitch black and just despairingly, unbearably dark towards the end, and due to the lighter beginning, it's more effective. The filmmaking craft here is stunning. I have somehow not seen Hong-jin-na's previous films, which were big festival hits as well, and huge hits in Korea and stateside. He made a film called The Yellow Sea and The Chaser. I'm definitely going to have to check those films out because his filmmaking craft is stunning. The film is filled with thrilling set pieces, horror set pieces. The centerpiece of this film is it's a cross-cutting between an exorcism and another ritual, and holy Lord, is it just a treat. It is a real treat. This sequence is huge. It's this shaman performing an exorcism ritual, and it's not like you are used to exorcism scenes in films being. It's a shaman ritual with this roaring fire and dancing and spraying blood all over the place, and it is something else. It is a showstopper. It is a widescreen showstopper, and damn it, this must be seen in a theater. You really need to try to see this film in a theater. Hong-jin-na is also a great director of actors. The performances here are great. Do Won Kwak, the lead, is so appealing. He looks like Porky Pig, and he has this bumbling everymanness about him that at first you're like, okay, how am I going to get behind this guy as the hero of this 3-hour movie? By the end of the movie, this guy will break your heart. Amazingly versatile performance. The takeaway from this film, though, the performance that will linger in your mind and will keep you up at night, it's going to keep me up tonight, is a young woman named Kim Hwan-hee. She's a little girl, and I've said it before on my channel, and I will say it again. I believe that the mark of a great director is the willingness and the ability to direct children well. This guy passes with flying colors. This young girl has very difficult scenes to perform. Things that you just no little girl should ever say. It's even more shocking here than similar scenes were in The Exorcist, if you can believe that. It's even more shocking because it feels more naturalistic. It is deeply disturbing and upsetting, and this performance by this little girl is something else. As I've said, I will repeat again, this movie is profoundly disturbing. When this film goes hard, it goes hard. There is some humor in this film. This is also a devastatingly, soul-crushingly bleak and despairing and grim, hopeless horror film. And it is just not for the faint of heart, period. If you really love horror like I do, see it, because it's amazing. If you don't think that you can handle this right now in your life, don't see it. It's not going to work out. Like, seriously, imagine a horror film that you regard as, super disturbing. This movie makes that movie look like a real crowd pleaser. The narrative of this film is like a spider web. It's really rich and operatic, novelistic. There are tons of loose ends. I was confused for stretches of the movie, and I really genuinely want to see this film again, and I will see it again in a theater because I loved it, and also just because the plot is very dense, and you're going to have more questions than answers when the movie is over. The film ends with kind of a reveal that would almost be too literal if it weren't so chilling. I mean, I felt the cold hand on the back of my neck in the last moments of this film. It was just like, alright. In addition to being super disturbing and frightening, this movie is very moving. I was thoroughly moved. This is a film about family. And if that's not material for a horror movie, what is? Who has the power to hurt you and harm you like your family does. This is a movie about that, and it is extremely effective, and these characters, this family, this father and his daughter and the rest of the family. It's so well drawn, and they have so much time to develop as characters over this nearly 3-hour film. It's really moving, and it will gut-wrenching, heartbreaking. This movie is a wild ride, and I was just so grateful to be along for that ride. I am going to give The Wailing an A, and highly, highly recommend this to horror fans. And see this in a theater. Seriously, see this film in a theater. It's gorgeous. We are living in a really wonderful time for horror movies. I mean, yes, most horror movies that come out are total crap. Oh. In recent years, though, we've had several great horror films per year. We're living in a time when horror filmmakers are getting really creative, and I am so grateful for it. Already this year we've had The Witch and The Wailing. My most anticipated film of 2016 is a film called Under the Shadow from Iran. I cannot wait for Under the Shadow. It is something I am so excited to see. It's gotten shamefully limited publicity stateside, and I don't understand why. Horror is commercial. I am very much looking forward to Under the Shadow, though. You should look it up. If you're a big movie snob, or you think that you're a movie snob, and you say something along the lines of, "Oh, they just don't make them like they used to." Okay, I hate you. Cinema as art is alive and well. Horror as art is alive and well. We are less than halfway through the year, and I have seen so many great movies already this year. I'm putting together a list of my 10 favorite movies of the year so far, just the first half of the year, that I'm going to put out at the end of June. I'm having trouble narrowing it down. The truth is, they don't make them like they used to, because cinema is a constantly changing art form, but that's not saying anything about the quality. There are so many wonderful movies out there right now, and The Wailing is one of them. As always, thank you so much for tuning in. I'm going to start putting out more content, putting out more videos regularly. I'm getting a little more time. And I just want to remind you that the people who watch my videos and binge watch my videos, you're the real heroes. You're doing what God wants. If you like what you see, please subscribe to my channel. Take care of yourselves, keep in touch, and stay clean, everybody. Bye!